Okay, so let's begin with what exactly love is in the first place. And what is it good for and what is it not good for? What is the value of love? So to understand it properly, first of all, the virtues of love. Love is related to the attribute of chesed, which is kindness. Kindness or generosity. We know of God's chesed because he created the world. Creating the world is an act of chesed. Why? How do we know? Because inviting someone else into existence is an act of generosity. So generous means it's not all for me. That is the instinct or the impulse of generosity. What makes a generous person generous? He has a very strong awareness of others, not only of himself. That's called chesed. Chesed doesn't mean giving a poor man bread. That is an act of chesed. But what makes the person a kind person or a generous person? Not the act, because a stingy person can act kind and he's still a stingy person. So why would he act kind? It pays. He'll get something in return. So he's not generous by nature. And yet he can do generous things. So what makes a person genuinely generous? That he's very conscious of another person. In other words, he feels another person's pain and he feels another person's joy. Without generosity, the other person's condition or experience would not mean anything to me at all. You're in pain, that's your problem. You're happy, well, good for you. It won't touch me at all. For a generous person, the other person's reality is real to him too. When you're in a good mood, I'm in a good mood. When you're in a bad mood, I'm in a bad mood. You affect me. Now, the fact that I allow you to affect me, that's generosity. That I take you seriously, that you are real to me, that's generosity. But it's not an opinion in the head, it's a feeling in the heart. Not I think you're real, I feel your reality. So it's an emotion, it's the first of all the emotions. Why is it the first? Because without generosity, there would be no other emotions. Like without love, there would be no hate. If I'm not generous enough to feel your reality, then you don't mean anything to me. Why would I hate you? In other words, I wouldn't even care enough to hate you. So wherever there is hate, there must first be chesed. So chesed is the beginning of every emotion, because every emotion means, and this is important, what is an emotion? A reaction to another person. That's an emotion. We use the word carelessly. For example, somebody says, oh, that person is a very emotional person. So what do you mean very emotional? Oh, he's nervous all the time. Nervous is not an emotion. Pessimistic is not an emotion. Even sadness is not an emotion. Emotion means my response to you. If I'm a nervous type of person, that's not a response to anybody. I'm just hyper. It's not an emotion, it's a sensation. Maybe a disposition, positive, negative, hopeful, pessimistic. Those are dispositions. They're not emotions. So when you say about a person who gets frightened easily, or is pessimistic about the future, or just very happy all the time, those are not emotions. It's kind of a personality makeup, but it's not an emotion. Emotions are love, hate, compassion. Love somebody, hate somebody, and have compassion for somebody. So let's compare for a moment love or kindness and judgment. Kindness is the feeling that everyone should have everything. Everyone should have everything. Why do we have to judge people? Why do you have to be stingy? Your kid asks for an ice cream, you give him an ice cream. Why shouldn't he have an ice cream? Okay, now he wants a second ice cream. Okay, so give him an ice cream. Now he wants a third ice cream. Yeah, why not? He's a good kid, and ice cream is good. Well, so, in other words, in generosity, there is no judgment. Should he have? Shouldn't he have? Is it enough? Is it too much? Is it good for him? Is it bad for him? Kindness doesn't recognize any of that. Kindness just says, sure, why not? So the default position in kindness is everyone should have everything without any limitations whatsoever. That's chesed. Gvura, judgment, means nobody is going to get anything. That's the default position. No one gets anything. Why? Because you don't deserve. If you do something and you earn it, then you get what you earned, but not a penny more. In some way, judgment is more mature and more real than kindness. And yet kindness is the first. Everything begins with kindness. Because even bothering to judge another person, you have to recognize the other person's reality and take them seriously. And that's why love that comes from kindness and hate that comes from judgment are so closely related. You're most likely to hate someone that you first loved. So someone you love does something to hurt you, you hate them. Someone you never loved does something to hurt you, doesn't bother you that much because you never cared to begin with. All right, so the problem with kindness is that it's indiscriminate. Everyone should have everything, which means I will be nice to everyone equally. So when I'm nice to you, don't take it personal. I do that for everyone. Love means when I take my kindness and make it personal. I am kind to everybody because I'm a generous person. But there's something about you. When I'm kind to you, no, this is personal. This is specifically for you because you are you, not because I am generous. That's called love. So love means being kind to someone because of that person, not because of your natural kindness. Now, what is it about you that makes my kindness personal to you? Kindness means closeness. I feel your pain, I feel your joy. We're merging our experience, we're merging our lives. Now, why do I want to get closer to you? Why do I want to feel your pain or feel your pleasure? Why do I want you to feel my pain and my joy? Because there's something about you that appeals to me. I respect you. I'm impressed with you. I feel very comfortable with you. So I want more. That desire to have more of you in my life, that's called love. So it starts with some attraction. But when it becomes love is when I pursue more closeness. There's something about you I like. That's just a natural reaction, an instinct. Love means whatever I like about you, I want more. So you feel comfortable and safe and appealing and attractive. Well, I want more. Ideally, I'll never have enough. No matter how long we're together, no matter how long we're married, I want more. I want more closeness, more merging. That's called love. So love is actually a pursuit, something I am trying to gain, something I'm trying to increase. Every time we have an argument, it makes my desire for closeness even stronger because the argument threatens to create distance. I don't want distance. I want more of you, not less of you. So, in one way, love is very sociable. It's not about me, it's about you. On the other hand, it really is about me. It can be very selfish. I want. And that's why you have sometimes these lopsided relationships where somebody loves you very much, but you find it annoying. You don't want closeness with this person. Or the closeness you have is enough. You don't want any more. It feels suffocating. So obviously, love can be very selfish. So what do we make of love? What do we do with it? Is it good? Is it not so good? So one thing has to be very clear. Love is certainly not the most important thing in life the way the media portrays it. It's not. Love is nice when it's nice. Love can be horrible when it's horrible. It is not the best and the most important thing in the world. We've got to stop worshiping love. It is the idol. It's the false god of modern society. Modern society, because of Hollywood or whatever, worships love. Worships love. Thinks it's so important that it's worth killing for, and it's worth dying for. And that is totally a false god. It's idolatry. It's unholy. So, for example, if a person were to ask, is love important in your life? The answer is no. Not important. It's pleasurable. It's satisfying. Makes life run smoother when you love somebody and somebody loves you. But important? Wrong word. Wrong word. People are important. Some people are very important to you in your life. Those important people you ought to love. But look at what society has made out of love. You ask a 10-year-old boy, if your dog and your brother were drowning and you could only save one of them, which one would you save? The average American kid would probably say, my dog. Why would you save your dog and not your brother? I love my dog. I don't love my brother. Or my dog loves me. My brother doesn't love me. Now, is that acceptable? Is that right? Of course not. A brother you don't love is still far more important than a dog that you do love. But the way we worship love, all of a sudden the dog is more important. Gets even worse. What does it mean? The dog is more important because I love my dog. Does that make your dog important? Or does it make your love important? And if your love is so important, that means that you're so important. Here you see the selfishness of love. What I love becomes important. Why? Because I'm important. So my love decides whether you're important. If I love you, you're important. When I stop loving you, you're junk. That's so nasty. Like every idol, it ends up in violence. It's a violent thing to say, if I don't love you, you're garbage. When I love you, then you're important. So the arrogance of it and the potential violence makes it really undesirable. So worshiping love is a terrible thing. So all the songs you hear on the radio, all the movies, all the romance books, they all worship love. If you really loved me, we would get along fine. Not true. Not true. You need a lot more than love to get along. Like, for example, you need respect. You need a little humility to leave room for another person. You can suffocate a person with your love because you have no respect. So you intrude on every part of their lives. So no, a relationship with just love is not going to last a month. In fact, love is not a relationship. Love is not a relationship. A relationship means, what significance does this person have in your life? What is this person's role in your life? If you're thinking clearly, a sibling has a role in your life, brother, a sister. Parents have a role in your life. A teacher has a role in your life. A doctor has a role in your life. What's a boyfriend? That's not a role. The boyfriend has no role in your life other than the fact that you like it. That's not a relationship. The way it works is like this. When someone is important in your life, you should love him. The most important people in your life, you should love the most. Because you have reason to love them. Love means, I want you to be in my life even more. Well, yes. The people who are part of your life, it would be good to have more of them. Your parents are an important part of your life. You should have more of your parents in your life. Your sibling, your fellow Jew. So, for example, a person says, no, love is very important. I mean, there's a commandment to love every Jew. You see how important love is? No. I see how important a fellow Jew is. And because a fellow Jew is so important, you should love him. You should want more. More of a good thing. But somebody you just love, it's certainly not true love, because there's nothing true about the relationship. So it's like saying chocolate is very important. Chocolate, it's the most important thing in the world. How do I know? Well, everybody loves chocolate. See how important it is? No, it's not important. Everybody loves it? That's because it's enjoyable, not because it's important. Don't mix things. No matter how much you love chocolate, it will never become important. So the place of love is where there is a real, true relationship, and you love that relationship, which is true. Your mother is really your mother, your sister is really your sister, your teacher is really your teacher. I'm talking about a good teacher. Then you should love that. And if you love that, then your love is also true. A love based on a truth. But a boyfriend, that's chocolate. It could be fun, but it's certainly not important.
I have a question.
And to think that because you love a boy, the boy is suddenly important, that's nasty. Love doesn't make things important. You should love those who are already important. Yeah.
Yes, Trina. But can't if you're can't having a boyfriend teach you like communication skills and teach you skills to have when you're in your relationship with your husband? So wouldn't it like it sounds terrible, but like practice makes perfect. Like
Yes, that was the original argument for dating and partying, because you learn skills. You don't learn any skills talking to a boy that you don't learn talking to a girl. Boys don't talk a different language. They just don't understand when you talk to them. Some girl once said, "Why can't we talk to boys?" I said, "Yeah, why? What is wrong with them? You can't talk to them. They don't hear what you're saying. They don't get it. No, you don't learn any skills that you don't otherwise learn. No, it's just pure indulgence, like chocolate. You gain nothing from chocolate. Meaning to say, if you never heard of chocolate and you never had chocolate, you're not missing anything. If you never have a boyfriend, you're not missing anything. Because it does not help you get married. It doesn't. It reduces marriage to more games and fun. Okay, so the first thing is, don't think that love is an indication of reality or importance, that if you love somebody, then that's your whole life and that's where. It's not that way. That's Hollywood exaggeration. That's hype. Why does Hollywood hype love? Because it sells. Why do they advertise chocolate? Why do you always hear about this chocolate and that chocolate and the better chocolate? Because it sells. It's a good sales pitch. People will pay for love. People will pay for chocolate. So we have to be clear-minded, not blinded by Hollywood. Can love be very powerful? Love can be very powerful, but it cuts both ways. Love can be very powerful in that it can help you overcome all sorts of obstacles in a positive direction. When you love somebody, there's nothing you wouldn't do for them, and nothing will stop you. By the same token, if you love somebody, there's nothing you won't do against them, and nothing will stop you. So in the name of love, you can be very productive or very destructive. Because it's a powerful force. It's not always a good force. So you have to be careful and choose good love rather than bad love. In Hollywood, they only talk about true love and false love. True love makes your life wonderful. False love is so heartbreaking. That's it. That's the drama of Hollywood. The agony and the ecstasy. So be careful never to use love as an excuse. It's way too common where girls say, I'm going to marry my boyfriend. I love him. Yeah, but he's cruel. He's a serial killer. You don't know him. I know him. I love him. I have to marry him. It's very scary. Love cannot be worshipped. It's worshiping an idol, and you get in trouble. Every idol disappoints. You rely on it, and it fails. And you get yourself into a lot of trouble. So stop looking for love. It's not worth it. It's not what it's cranked up to be.
Hi, can I ask a question?
Yes, where are you?
Hi, I'm Carmel. You said that we have to stop looking for love, but how do we know, like, how do we attract love?
How do we attract love?
Yes.
You mean, how do you make yourself lovable?
Yes, or I mean, yeah.
You are lovable. You don't have to make yourself lovable. See, again, that's part of the problem. When you make love the most important thing in the world, everybody thinks that they need more than they need. I have to be more lovable. I have to be the most lovable. No, you don't. You are lovable the way you are. And if somebody doesn't love you the way you are, well, then who cares? You don't need to beg for love. That is so dangerous. And worrying whether people love you is also dangerous. You shouldn't be worried about that. Those who will love you will be your friends. Those who don't love you, you don't need. Too much stress. It's a burden. He loves me not. What's the difference? You're fine the way you are. You don't need somebody's love to make you okay. In other words, we should never be love-starved. It's like a person running around saying, where can I get more chocolate? I need more chocolate. No, you don't. You don't. When you have chocolate, you'll enjoy it. Otherwise, you don't run around looking for it. I mean, some psychologists call that love yourself. Why do you have to find other people to love you? You should love yourself. I don't know if that's a nice idea. Love yourself sounds a little narcissistic. You don't have to love yourself. You have to be yourself. That's wonderful. Be yourself. Whoever loves yourself will be your friends. Those who don't love yourself, well, let them find somebody else. Not your problem. Never your problem. So you discover that some people don't like you. Does that make you miserable? It shouldn't. Nobody has to like you. Certainly not everybody has to like you. What is this desperate need we have? I don't have to be the most popular person in the world. I don't. Like I don't have to have every piece of chocolate in the world. So it's not that you should love yourself. You should be content with yourself. It's okay to just be me. That's not love. That's just sane. That's just sanity. But let's talk about this for a minute. What is self-love? Love yourself. You have to love yourself before you can love anybody else. What is self-love? Loving yourself is like talking to yourself. It's not natural. Talking is meant to be a communication with someone else, not with yourself. The same is true with love. Love is not something you do for yourself. It's something you give to someone else. Loving yourself is like talking to yourself. There's no point to it. There's nothing good about it. On the other hand, doesn't every person naturally love themselves? Is it even possible for a person not to love themselves? Well, what about people who hate themselves? They love themselves. You only hate people you love, right? You're important enough to hate yourself. Why are you upset that you're clumsy or that you're not better looking? You have friends who are not better looking. You like them. You don't hate them for being plain, but you hate yourself for being plain. Why? Because you love yourself. Somebody said to me once, I don't love myself at all. I have no self-love. I hate myself. I say, if you hated yourself, you would fall out of bed when you're sleeping. Why don't you fall off the bed? Even when you're asleep, your subconscious mind protects you from getting hurt. That's not love?
I have a quick question.
Yes.
But where does suicide fall in then? If like someone loves themselves so much, then how can that be possible?
So what is suicide? Suicide means I am feeling pain or frustration and I will not put up with it. Is that hating yourself or protecting yourself in some backward way? I will not put up with this pain. And the only way to end the pain that I can think of is to end my life. Very often, people who have a sibling, God forbid, who kills themselves, they get very angry. That was such a selfish thing to do. Suicide is selfish? Well, it can be. It means I will do what is best for me and I don't care how it affects anybody else. So there's this joke about a guy who says, I'm going to commit suicide. I've had it. I don't want to live anymore. I'm going to drown myself. And he comes back 20 minutes later and they say, so what happened? He said, the water is really cold. It's uncomfortable. I don't like cold water. But if you're ready to commit suicide, what do you care if it's comfortable or not? Because even a person committing suicide loves themselves. So here's why it's so ridiculous for psychologists to tell you to love yourself, as if you don't. You do. And the problem may be that you love yourself too much. You're too obsessed with yourself. Go help somebody else and you'll feel better. That works many times. So, getting hung up on yourself is really unhealthy. It's even worse than talking to yourself. You're choking on yourself. You're so concerned with yourself, you can't even breathe. It's like some people intrude on your privacy and they want all your attention all the time and they just suck up all the air in the room and they don't let you breathe. You can do that to yourself. You are so important to yourself and you're so worried about yourself and you're so obsessed with yourself, you can't breathe. You got to tell yourself, back off. Leave me alone. Let's talk about somebody else for a change. Okay, so.
Or maybe some tips for everyone on how to how to not get swept away by this pop psychology of being so obsessed with ourselves, and how to have a healthy balance of being content and being there for others.
Right. So the first thing is, which is what we're talking about, the first thing is, don't buy this message that you need love desperately or your life is not worth living. Don't buy that not even for a minute. You don't need love other than your mother's love. That's all. It's enough. Your mother gave birth to you. She loved you. Enough already. Don't get obsessive about love. It's not worth it. It is not that important. What is important? Goodness. How good are you? Not how much love do you have. You look around, there are people in the world, in your world, that can use a little help from you. Some kind of help. Sometimes financial, sometimes emotional, sometimes intelligent. They need a little advice. They need a little wisdom. They need somebody to talk to. So real kindness means you don't have to love me, but I want to help you in whatever way I can. Because that's the right thing to do. It doesn't have to have love. In fact, let's get a little more serious. What is destroying marriages in America, the experts say fighting over money, financial problems, is the biggest destroyer of marriages. And I don't think that's true anymore. That's when we were poor. What's destroying marriages is love. Love is destroying marriages because we're so in love with love, we forget to love the person we're married to. So, for example, a couple come and they say, we are in love, we fell in love with each other, and we want to get married. How should we make the marriage? How should we do the wedding? I said, you're in love? They said, yes. I said, well, then you can't get married. It's too late. I said, what are you talking about? I said, look, why are you marrying each other? For love. Well, you already have the love. What do you need the marriage for? What is the marriage going to add that you don't yet have? Nothing. Only responsibilities, burdens, issues. What do you want that for? You're only marrying for love, but you already have the love. So look at what happens. I fall in love with somebody, and I just love that love. So I marry her. And I discover that not only does she love me, which I love, she also has an opinion about everything. And I hate that. She has a personality, not just love. She has other character traits. And I don't want to put up with that. I married her for love. Every time she says anything else besides love, she's annoying me. I didn't marry you for your opinion. So just give me love and shut up. I don't want to hear about you. I don't want to hear your problems. I didn't marry you for your problems. I married you for love. And I'm not getting the love I expected, so we're getting divorced. They were never married. They were both infatuated with love. They didn't really need each other. That's the real problem. If you're looking for love, stay single. Go back to your mother. Marriage means you want the person, the whole person, not just their love. To make it really clear, if I love a woman because she's rich, and I marry her for her money, not so nice, right? Why is it not nice? Because anything besides her money, I have no patience for. I have no patience for her personality, for her opinions, for her beliefs, for her needs, for her moods. I have no patience for that. I married you for the money. Just keep the money coming. But the rest of you, I don't want to hear about. It's exactly the same if I marry you for love. I just want to hear about love. I don't want your opinion about anything else. So just shut up. Don't have a personality. Don't have an opinion. Don't have needs. Just give me the love I want. And the rest, I'm not interested. Which means I'm not married to you. I am married to your love. The same is true with sex. Sex and love, isn't that what marriage is all about? No, those are the two things that destroy marriages. Because I just want something from you. I don't need the rest of you. So just give me the part that I like. Keep the other part to yourself. That means we're not married. So he loves me not? What is your problem? Why do you need anybody's love? This is not Hollywood. You certainly don't need a boy's love because you never know what it is he's loving. You may love him. He may love something. So why bother? It's not worth it. There's nothing good about it at all.
Interrupt with just one important question that came in. You're saying that we don't need to look for love because we only need love from our mother or our parents when we were younger, and that's it. We got the love we needed. But sometimes some people can feel that they didn't necessarily get enough or healthy love as a child, and that inhibits how they behave towards other people or even how they treat themselves. How can they come to a place of healthy, content love when they weren't modeled that in a healthy way as a child?
Okay, so the biggest danger of a parent not loving their kid is that the child will go looking for a replacement for that love, a substitute love. My mother didn't love me, so I have to have a boy love me. That is a disaster. It doesn't work, makes things worse. You're becoming more needy rather than less needy. That is not a good solution. So what happens if you didn't get your mother's love? And your mother is no longer alive, so you're never going to get her love. What do? Find a substitute? There's no substitute. There's not. First of all, nobody loves you like a mother. So that love you're never going to get from anybody else. Secondly, you're already too old for that. The love you needed was baby love. Now you're not a baby, so it won't work for you now. So what do? So there's actually, there was, I hope it's not, doesn't exist anymore. There was a treatment called regression, where they turn you back into a baby so that they can give you the baby love that you didn't get when you were a baby. So they feed you with a bottle, they put you in diapers, and you're already grown up. It was a horrible idea, and it made people worse than they were before. So what do you do if you didn't get the love you needed as a baby? The real question is, how essential is that love? Some of the greatest people in history, I mean, truly great, the wisest, the best, the holiest, the strongest people were orphans at a young age. They never got baby love. They weren't abused. That's a different story. But they never got love from their mother or their father because they were orphans. The Baal Shem Tov was orphaned from both parents by the time he was 5. Did he make it without the baby love? Yeah, he made it. He made it. Because he looked for the love that was appropriate for his age. And the love that he missed, it leaves a little hole in your heart. That doesn't mean you can't grow and not only be strong, but also be humbled. So instead of letting that destroy you, you use it to humble yourself. I'll never be arrogant because I was an orphan, emotionally. But I can still live a good life. See, that gets back to the theme that we're talking about. How needy are you? Everybody needs to eat every day. You know, during the Holocaust, people went through weeks without eating. Can you live without food for a few days? Yeah. Nobody wants to, but yes, you can. So can you live without love as a baby? Yes, you can. I mean, it's not enjoyable, but you can. So don't get so needy that your life stalls. You can't proceed with your life because of what you need. You know, that's like running in circles. I need to get on with my life, but I can't because I need my mother's love, which I didn't get. So one need is interfering with other need. What are you going to do? The need to go on with your life is much more valid than your need of baby love. So you go on, and you become amazing. Why? Because you don't get hung up on neediness. The most respected chassid of our times was named after his father, because his father died before he was named. And he grew up to be an awesome human being. Awesome human being. So again, getting back to the theme of this. Be careful not to become too needy. And one of the areas in which we become too needy is in love. I need people to love me. Nobody loves me. Somebody has to love me. I need love. Love would be very nice if it's coming from the right person and at the right time. Otherwise, you're not that needy. You have plenty of strength, you have plenty of potential, you have plenty of ability, and you have plenty of responsibility to keep you busy. And getting stuck on a need It's not the way we're designed. And that's why Hollywood has to hype love all the time, in every commercial and in every book and in every movie and in every constant bombardment with your need for love. It's not true. We're not that needy. So don't fall for it. He loves me not. Who cares? I've got a life to live. And that's much, much more important. So go on with your life happily. Don't let these things drag you down. Don't even let it make you sad. The need does not deserve that much attention.